Tell me a little bit about, bro, how'd you get into the life insurance space originally?
Yeah, man. So for me, just probably like most of the people in this industry, obviously we're in a very, very young industry. A lot of people are 20, 18, 22, whatever. I went to college. I was playing NAIA football. I mean, I just didn't feel like I had a purpose really. I was working at Walmart as well. So I was paying off college, trying to do that, trying to be an athlete, but I still didn't feel purpose, right? I had to work, practice. At the end of the day, I didn't feel like I accomplished anything. So at that end of the year, I was lucky to have a local around me where I live that was in the insurance space as well, hit him up. And just like probably 75% of the industry, I was skeptical. Did you actually make $10,000? Like, hey, are you the 1% of the population? Like, is this seriously something I can do? Right. Super skeptical. But when he talked to me, he was younger than me as well. So, right. This
Mm.
industry is crazy. And I had to understand that as well. Right. Let's ego go away, have humility, learn from people that are doing what you want to do. So I dropped school, left everything, and just started insurance in the summer. Luckily, I had some, time in the summer where I wasn't working and I didn't go to school. So I just put all my effort into that. And that was actually, I think this actually might be my 1 year. May 14th may be my 1 year into the business.
Yeah.
So from there was sky's the limit. My biggest month was 70K issued premium. We're looking for 100K here soon, hopefully, especially with these leads, they're fire. But yeah, it's kind of how I got into it. From there was sky's the limit, really.
Yeah, dude, 100%, bro. So take us back, man, because I didn't even know that. So we're gonna get into that in a second. But tell agents about your first 30 days, bro. Because I'm big on we have a lot of new agents who watch these and want to know. And I'm not even talking about 30 days with Lead Lab. I'm talking about
Right.
your first 30 days. Like, did you get your teeth kicked in? Were you working aged? Just like kind of talk to that new agent who's literally about to start about kind of your experience and then also what they can expect.
Yeah. So even when I talk to new agents, I'm first 30 days, first thing you want to expect just right away is I always ask them, what's the worst food you absolutely, what's the food that's going to make you throw up tomorrow? Think of that food for the next 30 days because that's what it's going to be, right? For me, I made every single mistake you could think of, every mistake in the book. Socials, proposed insured names, effective dates, everything. Every mistake, but I was a true believer in make every single mistake so you don't make it again, right? You can only make so many new mistakes. So just make them all right now. So when you do make them all, you don't make them again and you learn from those mistakes. Now, in the beginning, I will say I don't want to say I got lucky, but I did make my first sale my first day. I don't know how many people do that. There's a good percentage, but I don't know how many people do that. But that gave me that belief that if I could do one, I could do 1,000. After that first day, it probably was another 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks before I closed again. But I did
Mm.
all the right steps every single day because I knew it was only a day until I reaped those rewards. I continued to buy leads. I continued to show up every single day. And I was just obsessed with the business, everybody, whether it was leads, people in the business, what they were doing, whatever the case is, obsession was my number one thing. If you're not obsessed with trying to better yourself, then you're doing a disservice to yourself, right? So that's just where I was at. First 30 days were super, super tough. First day, I was able to pop up a cell that gave me that belief. And I understood just like playing ball, just like anything that I did sports in the beginning of my life as a whole, I think is a testimony where you just got to do the right things. And if you do the right things, you will reap those rewards at some point. It's just a matter of time. You
Dude,
don't
100%.
have to be talented. You don't.
Yeah, 100%, bro. So let's dive into that. What are those right things that you're referring to that an agent can take out and actually go do?
So already, number one, I think just statistically, any 18 to probably 22-year-old, I think I would say less than 5% would actually be willing to sit in front of their computer for more than 10 to 15 hours consistently every single day. So that alone, being consistently on every single day is something that's hard already. Now, being intentional, I wasn't just on dialing numbers to dial numbers. My next dial was going to be my next close where I was going to get further into script because I still need to work on verbiage, rebuttals, all these good stuff. So I just wanted to get further. I just wanted to learn. So every day I was being intentional and super consistent with my time, but also I had my time scheduled, right? I can dial all day, but if I have five of the same rebuttals that has been cooking me the whole time, then I'm wasting time not learning from that. So I can go from 9 to 8. I'm 100% dialing. After 8, I'm getting deep diving with my upline all the issues that I had that day. Because if I'm not correcting it, then I'm just going to go show up and do it again tomorrow. Now, obviously, when I did propose insured and all those social and all that good stuff that I was learning on the fly, you go as you learn as you do those mistakes. But you really want to break that down at the end of the day. Because if you can't audit your business, audit who you are and what you're doing, you're never going to move on, right? Because just like you, I'm sure you can make a lot of money this month, and next month It might have been a little bit more, but what are your profit margins, right? So you always have to audit yourself, whether you're 30 days into the business or a year into the business, because there's always things you have to do better. So audit yourself, stay consistent, super intentional. And I think one thing also is just your emotions, right? Too many people like to bring feelings into this. The person over the phone doesn't care what you feel like. My mom could have died tomorrow or last night, and I have to show up on the phone 100% alive, looking for the best interest of my client because they don't know what's going on in my life, nor should they care because they're just looking to get a product that they, inquired me for. So those are I would say, top four things you have to have when you're first starting, at least that I look for. And I think if I could bring another one is be appreciative, right? Because the person that brought me into the business, I thank them all the time for it, right? Someone that's thankful, someone that can be appreciative. I think it shows to their character, right? Who they're going to be when they are making a lot of money, who they're going to be when maybe things aren't going to go so well. Because when you are appreciative, by default, your demeanor is going to be a little bit better. You're not going to be mad or sad or whatever the case might be.
Right, right. No, 100%, bro. And I think at the end of the day, like what you just said and everything you broke down for new agents is actually tactical, right? They can go out, they can have the right mindset, they can sit down, right, and actually do the things they need to do on a day-to-day basis. They can have the consistency that they're going to need to have as well to get to their goals. As far as leads go, when you first started, right, were you doing like age leads? Was your upline giving you like a vault? Like, what did that look like in terms of that first 30 days, in terms of like lead spend, etc.?
I will say, especially being into the business now for a little bit longer, it does matter who you're going under. It does at the end of the day. I didn't have a vault system. I had 100. My upline gave me 100 leads that I could dial, and that was it. Luckily, I told you I worked during college, so thank the good Lord I had money a little bit. Like I wouldn't say it was probably over $3,000. You know how much these leads were costing. So for me, I mean, it was like a stab in the heart, right? But after I
Yeah.
closed my first day, I asked my upline, "Do you think I should just buy leads?" And I did. And I'll be honest with you, I blanked four high intent leads back to back to back. And at that point, I mean, I was on the verge. I was almost done. Like, right. I was like, what do I do? Do I buy a new pack or do I audit myself? And at that point, I think after that fourth one, I really took a step back to audit myself, reflect, and exactly what I was doing. I think sometimes I was putting my emotions into things, right? My clients could hear it. Maybe I was anxious for a sale. I needed this, or I was just sad, depressed, whatever the case is. But I think as soon as I audited myself, everything changed. After that fourth one, I think I closed four, and then I continued to buy always high intent leads. For me, if I had a new fresh person, a fresh lead that requested or inquired me about a product, I could close it. That's just where I'm at now. If you're talking to an age lead, it's going to be a different sell. So I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. If you have high intent leads and you have the ability to have those high intent leads, buy them, and I think that'll be a good practice. Because if you're doing age leads, then you have to practice something a little bit different. At the end of the day, I think most of our goals is to get on high intent leads, right?
Right.
So I was a
No.
big high intent leads guy from the get go.
Dude, 100%, bro. So let's get into some tactical things. I appreciate the story. Now let's get into the tactical. I want to know, how are you working? Like, I always ask people this because you do run fresh leads. When you get fresh leads, how are you working them? Walk me through your process from like a brand new lead that comes in to over a week. Are you calling it immediately? Are you shooting them text messages? Like, what's that high level process that you go through working a pack of 25 or 30 leads?
Yeah. So depending on the lead type, like if it's a final expense lead, as soon as I get it, I'm gonna give it a call. Just because they're looking for it. Their emotions are pretty high on the product, right? There's a reason why they filled it out, and whether that's family stuff, whatever. So if it's a final expense lead, for sure, I'm gonna call it right away. And then if they don't answer, I'll give them three rings. They don't answer, and then with any final expense lead, I'm running it back after a couple hours, right? At least three times that day. Maybe that third time I'll leave them that message. Especially when I first started, I left them a message at all times, just letting them know, hey, I did get that lead you inquired for where you wanted XYZ, right? When would be a good time to reach back out if that wasn't a good time? I think also, especially with final expense, they could be doing things, but more than likely they're just, I don't know, not on their phone or not
Right.
active users. Sometimes they fill out the form. It's just like the phone's out, right? You never know to get a hold. So
Right.
definitely for me, with those final expense, you call them right away for sure. And leave messages if you want. Voicemails, I'm not super huge on them. I can't tell you that when I first started, I definitely did voicemails, but not right now, not currently. For IULs, I want to respect their time just a little bit more because I understand someone that's their middle age is probably working for their family and stuff like that. And someone that's doing hard labor probably won't be able to stay on the phone with me to understand the value of the product that they're actually getting, in 20, 15 minutes, right? It's a little bit of a different sell. So sometimes if they do have a time on there, I'll respect it. If not, if I'm just like, hey, I'm on flow, I just got to call this number. I'm just antsy. I'll still call it. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. But when you get on the phone, hey, introduce yourself, let them know you're calling about the form. And if it's a bad time, you just let them know you were trying to check in. When's that good time? Oh, it's the one you put on here. Perfect. That's when I'm going to get back to you. Just wanted to see if you had those 15 minutes right now, right? Whatever the case might be. If it sometimes they're open books right then and there. So if it's an IUL, I respect it sometimes a little bit, but if I'm antsy, I don't, like I said, I don't think there's a wrong or right answer. I'll just call it right away as well. Voicemails, not leaving any voicemails, usually not leaving any text messages unless I'm getting like, any text back or not getting any answers over like a course of a week. That's when I'm usually 100% always sending text messages. How I'm working them, as soon as they don't pick up 3 times, I'm going to go again 3 times after that appointment. I'm going to go 3 times. And I'll be a little bit annoying that first day because, again, just like everybody's life, you don't know. Maybe in the morning, they're always super busy. Or maybe in the morning, in the afternoon, late night, they're always super busy. And it's just that one time from the middle of the day that they're open, right? They could be, nurses that are always working all day, right? So you don't really know what their schedule is, but that's why you want to hit them always at different times at all times.
Yeah, dude, 100%. And I love that thought process. For those that don't know about our leads, we have a question on there that says, when's the best time for a life insurance agent to contact you? So kind of what he's saying, for those who don't know, is essentially he's calling, doing like a soft pre-book-ish intro, where he's like, hey, my name is Yordi, blah, blah, blah. I'm your agent, boom, boom, maybe collecting some data, build a little bit of rapport, tie it down for that solidified time, and then he's following up. Or he gets a temperature check, and if they're ready to roll, he's like, all right, let's do it. And now it turns into a one call close and he gets paid. So that's the philosophy that he's explaining for everybody. I've seen you close a variety of different type of policies, which that like my antennas go up when I see that because that shows signs of a agent who really is trying to put the client in the best possible position rather than trying to force products onto them. Oh, they signed up for an IUL, so they have to get an IUL. Now, I know that's not how you sell, but could you walk a new agent through kind of how are you discovering or like looking at the way you're closing and presenting to these people? Because everybody's not going to qualify. And honestly, it's not always the best product for every single person. But can you walk us through like when you pivot, how you kind of think through that, bro, for an agent that's
Yeah,
like, all I want to do is push product?
yeah. At first, I always like to ask qualifying questions in the beginning, right? If you ask the qualifying question in the beginning, hey, I want to even see if you can even qualify for this type of product, right? So I don't want to waste your time or mine, whatever the case is, your line is. I'm always asking pre-qualifying questions at the beginning. So then I know, hey, if they were looking for an IUL, I'll let them know that we've got this diabetes here. You've got two medications on there. There is a smaller chance you're going to get this, but I'm almost positive we can get coverage for your family, right? Because and after those qualifying questions, then I'm asking what they were looking to get taken care of. We can see on here that it can be maybe they want cash for later use, but maybe their real intent was they wanted to leave a lump sum of money. So when they leave, everybody in their family is taken care of. Whatever it is, you have to understand that as well. So if they say they want that lump sum of money, but they don't have any coverage in place, then that's okay because an IUL would have been good. They're the young demographic, but they don't have any coverage in place. So if something happens to them tomorrow, they still need coverage for their family, right? And more than likely, they understand, hey, I had a AFib in my heart, like, I'm not going to get this
Right.
IUL, but I
Right.
also want my family protected. I think the biggest thing is if someone knows you want the best interest for them, they are never ever going to leave you. And then I will say, just super secret sauce. I don't know how many people this is like. You better be dropping ones in the chat. There's comments on this right now. I use this every time, and people are going to start using this for sure. But if you use Crank Wheel, have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Crank Wheel, I think, has changed my game phenomenal 10x when they can just see these, especially the younger people, just see it right then and there. They don't get any rebuttals. It's a free sell, right? They see everything happening right there. It's a carrier they like, whatever the case is. Crank Wheel helps me so much when they see what I'm doing, especially when I told them what I was going to do, and I'm doing exactly what I told them I was going to do. So I
Can you
asked qualifying questions at first.
pause for a second and tell the people who don't know what crank wheel is? Just give them a high level view of what is crank wheel if they're
Yeah,
watching.
Crank Wheel is, if you go look it up, it's just a yellow website where it's going to allow you to share your screen and then send them with a link to where they can see your screen. You're the entirety of your screen. So while you're going through applications, illustrations, any questions they have, they can see it right on their screen. I mean, I had a guy earlier today that he said he would not do anything unless there's an office in whatever in California. I said, I don't have an office in California. I'm actually in Nebraska. I have an office in Illinois that I go visit sometimes, but I don't have a physical office in California. But what I can do here, Donald, is go I have a software that my brokerage allows me to have where you can see exactly what I'm doing. Does that sound fair for you? Perfect. And we got straight into the application after we saw that everything met his goals. Right. And then it was a lay down sell. Like there's no rebuttals after they see exactly what you're doing. Now, I will say sometimes being super transparent, crank wheel can, screw you over a little bit with, hey, denied, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever the case might be. But then it goes back to, did you do everything in the beginning correctly? Because if you built the trust, you built the urgency, you built the why in the beginning, there's no reason why, if you're honest to them, hey, you told me, I know this looks like you got denied. You said you had XYZ. We can pivot to this other IUL that does accept the diabetes or whatever the case is. We're going to go ahead and do that now. You have to tell him to do that, by the way. You can't ask, you have to do it. And then if he gets all the way denied, you told me you had coverage and you don't have any coverage tomorrow. Obviously, if something happened tomorrow, you wouldn't want your wife to have any burden in place, correct? I got you. So what we'll do now is we're going to pivot to America. They have XYZ, whatever the case is. So it can hurt you, but I think transparency is always going to be the best policy at the end of the day. Transparency is key. Transparency builds trust. So
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
100%, bro. That's a masterclass on that because I think people struggle with sometimes feeling out like I'm doing IULs. I got to get on Zoom. I got to do this. I got to do that. I'm like, bro, you just got to be honest and put these people in the best possible position. Figure out what their real pain points are. Do they want standard life insurance? Or do they want cash value? Okay, you figure that out. Now put them in the right vehicle, explain how it works, and close them for something that makes sense, not just what you want them to have or what you think they should have because it's a specific lead type, which I think is dope. So speaking of lead types, let's transition briefly. And I told you before we started, I'm big on honesty, bro. You've ran both of our leads. We have two different type of IUL leads as of recorded right now, which is like a traditional Facebook autofilm volume lead and then a text verify. So I want them to hear from you because you experienced both. What are the pros and cons and the differences between the two? Because I get asked this, even when we first talked, you asked me, I get asked this all the time. So as somebody who's experienced both, can you
Mhm.
walk that agent through who's like, which one do I choose? What are the differences, brother?
So when I first started it, obviously I knew there was going to be a difference. So I went ahead and just did both. I figured the OTP were going to be a little slow, which I'll say if you have the states on there, they're going to feel fine, right? Like I don't have a problem with my lead orders getting filled up. But when I did do them both, I'll be honest with the instant, obviously they're maybe just clicking a button. So the intensity isn't there, but I can tell you there was 100% opportunities for me to close. Like if I was maybe a million a year, I don't know, but there's definitely opportunities to close 100%. They knew still what I was talking about. And maybe something else brought them into that IUI idea. Maybe they saw that their friends were talking about it. They had annuities in some place, whatever the case is. They still had something that told them they wanted to get an IUL. You just have to be a little bit more quicker, right? When I have the OTP, I'm taking my time, just got this when I'm instant, I'm quick, I'm super quick. Like, what were you looking at? Like, it was a cash value, being your own bank, whatever the case is, whatever. Oh, this perfect. Then I'm moving into the qualify. I want to even see if I can even. So I'm running the same thing. I'm just speeding it up just because the intent isn't as high. But they still know exactly that they're requiring for an IUL. With an OTP, I'm going to take my time. I'm not worried about them hanging up in 2 seconds or whatever the case is. With an instant, you just have to be quicker to draw maybe an emotion, an interest, whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, what I say, can new agent or not a new agent, someone with less capital close those instants 100%. Like I have too many socials on my notebook on instance. I feel like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
it definitely would be still good for someone that has less capital
yeah.
for sure.
No, 100%, bro. And I'm happy you broke it down like that because that is a very simple way. And it makes sense, right? Like they fill out four questions, five, right? The
Yeah.
other one fill out 10 and they got a text verification. They're putting health conditions, best time to contact. Like it's just a whole different mindset of the individual going through. But like you said, you'll still find gems. It's just really that pure volume step up from an age type of thing, which I think is dope. But okay, cool. So we're kind of pivoting into the end, brother. I want to talk about your experience working with us. Now, it's a little bit different than most traditional lead vendors, lead companies. And I kind of told you about that. Your team, which we're getting more of you guys on, you guys are absolutely crushing it. But your team, you guys are all dogs. Everybody knows how to sell. You all sell freaking every lead type, which I think is pretty cool. But can you walk kind of like your experience? This is more less on like lead themselves, but more about like agent lead lab, like the company, the onboarding, just like what should somebody expect, bro? Like kind of walk them through a high level of how your experience has been thus far and whatnot.
Yeah, so I mean, I've ran packs leads since I started the business, and I think the story is the same for a lot of them, right? They're super seasonal. Some go up, and then next thing you know, they're not going down. So I've done a lot of packs. I will say I've never had a lead where I'm talking to you or somebody all the time, right? So they're always super engaged. It's gonna feel a little bit more like I know Trey. He's just not selling me leads. You know what I mean? That's number one. Also, the process is easy, right? You're texting someone's doing everything for you. The back end, I don't have to worry about it. I'm just here's take my money, do it, and then get me going, right?
Yeah.
And that's my biggest thing. I just want to see every day leads on my sheet. And luckily, not luckily, you guys do a great job of fulfilling orders in a properly manner. I'm never getting on my spreadsheets without new people to talk to. That's my biggest part, especially starting any vendor is having a new person to talk to because I'm confident just like everybody says, if they have new people to talk to every day, especially being high intent, that you're going to close. That's just where I'm at. So you get those two aspects of it. And so far, so right now, the quality of the lead for me has been phenomenal, right? It hasn't been seasonal. It's been pretty good. I'll be honest, I've cooked a lot. That first pack that I had 10 closes on, I could have had 15 probably. So like a lot of it was also my fault too, right? But other than that, man, I don't have like many, I can't tell you a con about it. I will say maybe the only con is that the workers are off at 8, right? But
Yeah.
I
A lot of
think
people were saying, huh?
as I mature more into this business, it really doesn't matter, right? When your leads are on or off. If a lead, someone fills out that lead, they'll know tomorrow what lead they filled out, especially being a high intent lead. So it really doesn't matter. That's why I stopped honestly pausing any leads. It doesn't pausing for me means
I
my
think I lost you. Oh, there you go. No, you're back on. You're back
I
on.
said, but besides that, oh yeah, I did say that. I said, unless I'm not working my leads for a couple of days, I'm not going to pause them anymore because I do believe if they fill out that form, whether it's they were at night, you're tired, whatever, from a long day of work, morning, kind of seeing their phone, they had interest. They filled out 10 questions, they had interest. So I'm never going to pause leads anymore because I don't think it matters. Besides that, I don't think I've had if anything, I developed when I joined Agent Lead Labs, especially in that aspect where it doesn't matter when they're filling it out. It's a high intent lead. Besides that, I don't think I have any cons really about even I have obviously I've been here a little bit shorter time than probably a lot of people, but I've only have phenomenal things to say really, man, about Agent Lead Labs in my personal experience having other seasonal, I guess, vendors.
Yeah, dude, 100%. And a few things I want to touch on before we wrap up, everybody that's watching. He closed 10. Y'all hear me publicly. That is not the norm. So don't come to me like, yo, he closed 10. This dude's different. You heard him say he's on pace to do, close to 100,000. He's done 70,000 in a month. So I just want everybody to hear a disclaimer from the owner himself. That is not normal, right? Our average agent is closing anywhere from 2 to 5, but I appreciate it. That's why he's on here to show you all what is possible and to set the standard for what you can do, right? So you all can actually go out and take these gems. Everything he said at the beginning of the call was behavioral traits about him spending 12 hours, 14 hours dialing, sitting down, getting rejected, learning, self-belief, right? Those are the foundational pieces that's got him here a year later in the business where he can take 25 leads and whip up 7, 8, 9, 10 closes because he's working the leads properly. He knows what to say. He knows how to pivot. He knows how to leverage the systems as well. And the other thing is, he is a part of a team that's partnering with us, right? So for anybody that doesn't know, that's just a part of our partnership package that his team has access to as you continue to work with them. And like I said, they're all absolutely killing it. So I'm just if there's anything else, bro, I'll leave the floor with you. You could talk about mindset. Maybe anything I didn't ask you, things that you feel like an agent should know. If you don't have anything, we can wrap it up, bro. But I'll let you take the end floor here.
No, man, I think statistically, especially getting into a business like this, being in the younger demographic, one big thing you can say, I said in the beginning, audit yourself, right? And also, I used to play sports. I always looked at odds, right? If you're a veteran, whatever the case is, on paper, someone that's a, UFC champion, national champion, won a Super Bowl, whatever the case is, they're the 1%, right? They are the 1%. If I put it on paper, how many people that are 18, 19, 20-year olds, 22, 24 are making 10 grand a month? It's going to be 1%. So what are you doing that's 1% to get you there, right? Are you on every day? All the traits we talked about, you have to be the 1% to become the 1%. You can't just be the 1%, right? So
Right.
that's the only thing I'll leave it off with is don't expect this to be easy or anything that's meaningful to be easy. because that's just not the case. If it's going to be meaningful, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. You're going to have to maybe not see so many rainbows at some points, but it will happen as long as you do the right things and understand to be the 1%, you have to become the 1%. That's it.
Yeah, dude, 100%, man. Well, I appreciate you hopping on, y'all. You all have heard it first. If you're interested in working with him, like I said, reach out directly to us or your rep. We'll reach out to him and see, what he's got going on. He's growing a team as well. So, Yordi, thank you for hopping on, bro. I greatly appreciate it. And for everybody else, we'll see you guys next time.